I'm Penny Dix Astro Coach. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my astrological overview for the month of December 2021. And halfway through the video, all your sun signs and ascendant signs will be time-stamped for you to go directly to, and that's in the description box underneath the video. Okay. It's not entertainment I'm seeking, it is understanding. Understanding, understanding, and more understanding. I will stuff myself with it, sniff it up with every pore, cram it into every orifice. Someday it'll pay off. Everything will fall into its proper place. And I will at last understand. This is a quote by Laurel Coldman. And Steven Forrest, the renowned astrologer, uses it in his book, The Inner Sky, to describe the personality of the Sagittarius individual. And if you are a Sagittarius sun sign or ascendant, then I think you will have resonated with that quote. But how do these energies affect the rest of us? Well, I think during this time there'll be more determination to seek truth. There'll be an urgency to understand the current events we're facing and a desperation to find solutions, whether this is on the world stage or a personal level, to really understand and find the solutions. So truth and understanding will be high on our agendas. And it's interesting, when I started writing this, and also still whilst I'm videoing it, it's November. And the Climate Change Conference is going on in Glasgow. And I think we're going to have to get used to this topic. I think it's going to be high on the agenda for 2022. And it is, of course, I think all of us are beginning to realise it's probably one of the most important and profound challenges that any of us have ever faced. So here we are in Sagittarius season with the astrological energies building up towards the exact squares, the last of the exact square between retrograde Uranus in Taurus, our planet of freedom and the unexpected, surprise, and Saturn, our planet of slowing down, contraction in Aquarius. Their final meeting is actually on the 24th of December, Christmas Eve. So, is this going to be a eek, ouch Christmas? Or will it be okay? Well, let's see what leads us up to that point. But first, before I launch into all of that, I want to thank and welcome all my new subscribers. And thank you so much. And if you've not subscribed, I'd really very much like it if you could subscribe. And that brings me to my next point, which is I am in fact running a competition for a free natal chart reading with me. That would be on Zoom and it would last an hour. And all you have to do to enter this competition is subscribe to my YouTube channel. Then you visit my website, register and become a website member. And then the winner will be picked at random on Christmas Eve and be announced on Christmas Eve. If you're not lucky enough to be the winner and you would still like to have a one-to-one astro coaching session with me, my website details are in the description box underneath the video. So let's see what we all have in store for December. And I'm going to start with our planet Neptune. Neptune is our planet of what's unseen and hidden and mysterious. It's smoke, it's mirrors, its depth, it's the vastness of the oceans. But because it represents things that are unseen, it can also represent viruses. So quite interesting as we move into this winter season. The other thing it can represent is actually the remedy, the vaccines, and the medical advances to cure and help with different diseases. Neptune goes direct. It's been retrograde for quite some time. It goes direct on the 2nd of December. In Pisces, the sign it co-rules with Jupiter. So I think we might see more positive news in connection with the vaccine or other vaccines for other illnesses. And I think we may see news about medical improvements for various treatments, particularly with COVID and possibly with other medical problems. By the 4th of December, we get a total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. Now, a solar eclipse only happens when it's a new moon. So this is Sagittarius. This is about truth, understanding. So what new avenues will open up for us with this new moon? Mercury, our planet of communication, is conjunct this new moon. So I do think we can expect large amounts of information becoming available and a huge desire to find truth about subjects that are close to our heart. It may well be that the climate agenda is still the main focus as various groups debate and argue the details and look for the potential solutions. And it might be that it's down to one single person to bring these warring factions together, to heal the differences, and to recognize that this problem is only going to be solved if we all pull together on the same side. What else is happening this month? Well, Venus. I haven't talked much about Venus lately, but Venus, our planet of love, beauty, relationship, attraction, self-worth, value and money. Venus is going to be spending all month in Capricorn. Between the 11th and the 19th, Venus is exactly conjunct our planet Pluto, who's been in Capricorn for quite some time now and doesn't actually move into Aquarius until 2024. So what do we get from this energy of Venus conjunct Venus conjunct Pluto? And also on the 19th, we have a full moon in Gemini. And also on the 19th, Venus conjunct Pluto turns retrograde. So what's it all mean? I'll endeavour to tell you. So Venus in Capricorn represents the value of larger institutions, and with its conjunction with Pluto, our planet of endings, beginnings, transformation, then on a personal level, it's a really good time to structure and budget better with our finances. I also feel this all links in with the final square between Saturn, our planet of contraction, in Aquarius, and Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And Uranus, as you remember, is our planet of shock, surprise, the unexpected. But I'm going to come to them a little bit more later. Now, as I mentioned, the full moon is also on the 19th in Gemini. And this will be a full moon about communication and truth. Jupiter, however, in Aquarius is in a helpful aspect. But because in the background we've got this Uranus square Saturn going on, we really have to be mindful about big talk, that we make promises that are impossible to keep, even promises to ourselves that could be impossible to keep. All these energies combined, however, really do suggest that banking will be in the news headlines. We could even see the collapse of a big traditional financial institution, especially around the time of Venus turning retrograde and during the weeks following. But the other thing that occurred to me is we could see the end of a large news and information service. And I think everything to do with information, news, the internet is going to change tremendously over the next probably 4 to 10 years. Now, this final square of Uranus and Saturn on Christmas Eve, sometimes when we get the final transit of two of these big outer planets, it can represent some kind of resolution or solution or a completion. So on a personal level, it's like that final opportunity to put something to rights that you're aware you may have been dragging your heels about. Now, I'll give you an example, because if I use myself, all year I've been flirting with trying to get myself into a reasonable and sensible exercise routine. And because of the placements of both Saturn, Uranus and Pluto in my chart, I know for me, these transits have been about taking my body seriously, taking my physicality seriously, and doing something to make sure my body will last and will perform properly in, as it should do. So I have very much done things, especially in the last month, to get myself onto a treadwheel, if you like, or a treadmill of exercise routines, even engaging a personal trainer, because I want this to become a habit. So that's what I want to say for all of you, that if you look at the areas where your life has been probably highlighted this last year, if you think what's the thing that comes topmost to your mind that has been foremost in your life at the moment, then this is what this Saturn-Uranus final hard angle is challenging you to kind of bring to some kind of resolution. So I hope that helps a bit. I think on the world stage, I think it is possible that, as I've mentioned a little bit earlier, that we could see maybe the collapse of a financial institution, and it could set shockwaves off in the financial sector. And I feel that the way the economy has recovered in the past year through the sort of movement towards finding better ways to operate within the pandemic, that there has been a perhaps slightly overbuoyant, kind of movement in how the financial situation has blossomed. And I just feel that this Saturn-Uranus could mean that we see some slowdowns and that the economy takes a bit of a hit. So this is just kind of like a heads up that December might not be the best time to lay out large amounts of money. It's a time, I think, for being slightly more frugal. So I think it's better that we make sure we do our Christmas shopping early, as we might not be feeling quite so flush by the time of the January sales. Now, by the 30th of December, Mercury will also be in conjunction with both retrograde Venus and Pluto in Capricorn. So this energy, I think, is going to see harsh, hard talk and facts that have to be faced. Whether that's on a personal level, whether it's me telling myself that a 2-day gap between the exercise routine is not acceptable. So just think again about what that might be about in your life and see how you can navigate it in a way that you can actually make it work for you. And I think on a sort of a bigger scale, if we look at the general meaning of Capricorn, which is very much about traditional institutions and businesses, it would be to do with the old ways of running businesses. And, you know, Pluto brings transformation and change. It's breaking down the old structures. And I think that the general view is that we're going to have to accept that if anyone is going to succeed, big changes have to be implemented to keep up with this fast-changing world and the fast-changing climate. I also want to mention briefly, before I come on to your individual zodiac signs, about the Aries square, because Aries, whom I've mentioned before, is our goddess of strife and discord. She's a feminine energy. She's the wronged feminine. She's the feminine that is angry, that can be quite cutting. And she has been in a hard angle with Pluto, our planet of breaking down structures and transformation, all year. And of course, for December, she's going to be squaring both Pluto and Venus. So I think feminine energy is going to see a bit of a resurgence, and I think it will be quite aggressive. I think we'll see plenty of fighting talk from women in leading roles. Maybe a controversial elevation of one particular important woman to a key role in current affairs. Maybe someone to really wake us up more than we've already been stirred about climate change. And finally, before I come on to your individual zodiac signs, Jupiter finally leaves Aquarius on the 30th of December and moves into the sign that it co-rules with Pisces. So it co-rules Pisces with Neptune. But I'm going to tell you more about that next year, because Jupiter is going to be moving towards a lovely, beautiful conjunction with the planet Neptune. And that is going to be super interesting for all of us in various ways. So more of that next year. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me for this part of the video. And remember, your zodiac signs are time-stamped. So if you want to leap straight ahead, I always like to see what my friends and family and other half is doing. So I tend to sort of keep my eye on all of the zodiac signs. But anyway, I will leave you now to enjoy that. And I wish you a happy Christmas, a happy New Year, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Aries, here we go. So let's just start by looking at where this new moon total solar eclipse is for you, because it's in the part of your chart, Sagittarius, which is to do with truth, knowledge, journeys, and understanding. The new moon solar eclipse is conjunct the planet Mercury, our planet of communication. So I think there's going to be a lot of information that comes to light. Maybe a kind of a better understanding of a situation that has been difficult to maintain or difficult to sort out. And I do feel this new moon is bringing something out from the shadows. Because if we think about the energy of an eclipse, something is in the shadow. In fact, it's the sun that gets shadowed by the moon. It's almost like the triumph of the feminine over the masculine. And because we've got Venus, the planet of value and money, attraction, love, relationship, conjunct Pluto, the planet of transformation, in Capricorn, in the part of your chart that is to do with your career and your kind of public image. If you're not working, this is the part of your chart where your passion lies. So it will be anything that you do that gives you great joy and pleasure. So this combination of energy of Venus and Pluto, and they're joined by Mercury by the 30th. My sense is, if you're looking for a change in direction in your career, then I think you will be offered something, and I think you'll be signing a contract by the end of December. Venus, of course, goes retrograde on the 19th, and it's the same day that we get a full moon in Gemini. So it could well be that you leave one position because you're moving on to another one. But you will be quite happy about this. Jupiter is moving into Pisces on the 30th. And this is the part of your chart that is to do with the inner you. It's to do with the part of you that can feel restricted and contained. So there may well be some situations in your life with the presence of Jupiter here that makes you feel a bit restricted and frustrated with restrictions that are put on you that you find challenging and difficult. Let's just look at this full moon as well, because it's on the 19th, which is the day that Venus goes retrograde, and it's when Venus is still conjunct Pluto. Because I think this full moon really sees something coming to fruition. I think the communication lines are going to be very active. I think you're going to have plenty to say. And there will be a sense with you of demanding to be heard, that you will not be kept in the shadows. Aries doesn't like the shadows. Aries wants to be in full light. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Aries says, I am. And so anything that restricts you, like that Jupiter in the 12th house, which is keeping you confined, Jupiter's making you want to break out. So even though we've got some good energies with the new moon, which I think we'll see some movement, especially with anything to do with, communication that has been very restricted. There will be some changes. But let's just finally look at this, the Saturn square Uranus for you. Think back to what has been the most important topic for you, Aries, this year. Because that's the part of your life that this Saturn-Uranus square is going to most affect. And remember that when we have the final square of these outer planets, it can bring a resolution, a solution, some kind of completion. For you, of course, Saturn is in the part of your chart that is to do with almost like the superconscious. It's also your hopes, your wishes, things you would like to manifest. And it's squaring Uranus in Taurus. Now that's your second house of finance, value, self-worth, self-respect. I think that's been quite challenged over the last year. And in some way, I think something will shift for you around Christmas time. Whether that's on an internal level, that you actually, as Jupiter leaves Aquarius, you have a kind of a eureka moment and a sense of, I can be free from whatever it is that has been restricting you. But I do feel that for you, Christmas actually will be much calmer, much more peaceful, and you will actually feel quite settled and full of optimism for what looks like could be a very interesting 2022 for you, especially if you're going to be starting in a new position. Okay, Aries, I really wish you well. And I wish you happy Christmas, happy New Year, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Taurus, okay, let's see what's happening for you. Well, let's start with that new moon total solar eclipse on the 4th in Sagittarius. Because I think for you, you are the one that is going to start to feel like a transformation is coming through you or over you. I think where you may have felt like hiding away or keeping some part of your personality hidden, actually that's going to start breaking through. And I think we're going to see a softer, a more intuitive, a more gentle side to your nature. And I think the way you talk, everything about the way that you will be communicating from that point forward will have a kind of a sense of understanding and depth that perhaps people haven't been aware of before around you. And if we look at that Venus in Capricorn, Venus being about value, self-worth, it's about love, relationship, but it's conjunct Pluto between the 11th and the 19th of December. This part of your chart is Capricorn. And it's where you take, I think, very seriously your sense of knowledge and learning. If you're going to learn something, if you want to know the true value of information that you seek, then this is where you seek it. And you do it by the book. You have to have your evidence, Taurus. I think that's a key thing for you, Taurus. Evidence, not just flights of fancy. So this Venus conjunct Pluto, Venus, of course, goes retrograde on the 19th. You're going to have this Venusian energy in this part of your chart for quite a long time. And I think Venus will be bringing, you could actually be looking at literally physically traveling, which you may not have done for some time. And so you may actually be starting to look at how you put that in place, especially when Mercury is conjunct both Venus and Pluto on the 30th. And of course, that will coincide with Jupiter moving into Pisces. And that's the part of your chart that is to do with that kind of superconscious and hopes and wishes and dreams. So there may very well be something that you would like to plan, a trip, trip now, like the airways, certainly today in November when I'm recording this, the sort of transatlantic flights have resumed. So maybe you have family or a wish or a desire to go across the Atlantic. So let's wait and see what unfolds for you. So also on the 19th, there is this full moon in Gemini, and it's in the part of your chart that is to do with finance, and it's also work. So I do think that you will see that maybe one source of income comes to a close, but actually something else will open up. It will lay the sort of the ground, if you like. It'll put down the foundations for something actually much better to come into your public life and your working life. Now let's look at that Saturn-Uranus square for you. Because of course, Uranus is in Taurus, your sign. So people are really seeing big changes in you. And I think personally, Taurus, you probably feel a sense of freedom and kind of just a sense of being in the right place more than you've probably done maybe ever. And because it brings in the energy of the part of your chart, Aquarius, where Saturn is, which is to do with your work and your sort of your position, your role in life. This Taurus Aquarius energy for you, you're going to be making breakthroughs, I feel, with your career. If you don't work, if you don't have a working life, if you're retired or you're just not working, then this is to do with anything that you're really passionate about. You will really make some breakthroughs with whatever it is you're passionate about. You may be doing voluntary work that gives you great pleasure. So some kind of resolution comes at this point with this final square on the 24th. So that again, I think for you, Christmas, as I was just saying for Aries, I think you're going to be able to actually sit back and think, wow, I actually did quite well. I actually got through this year and last year, and actually it's turning out perhaps not maybe exactly as you imagined, but actually I think you feel quite comfortable and pleased with the way things are panning out for you. So I'd like to wish you a beautiful, blessed Christmas and a fruitful and interesting New Year, Taurus. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now. Hi, Gemini, and let's have a look to see what's happening for you this month. Well, the exciting news is that I really do feel there's a lot going on in significant relationships. If you're single, you might not be by January, if that's what you would like. You see, we've got a new moon total solar eclipse in Sagittarius, and it's in the part of your chart that is specifically to do with significant people in your life. And it may well be that you're already in a very good, solid relationship. If that's so, because Mercury is conjunct this new moon solar eclipse, then I think you're going to have new opportunities to talk afresh about issues that perhaps have been kept kind of in the sidelines, because, you know, it is a solar eclipse, so there's something about practical matters that have been held back. So this is about things becoming more public or being revealed. And because it's conjunct Mercury, lots to talk about. But let's just move on to your 8th house, which is Capricorn. We have Pluto, our planet of transformation here. And Pluto has been bringing lots of changes to your joint resources, if you have them, or anything that is connected with pensions, legacies. Those kind of issues can come up. But also, it's the part of your chart that can be very much about you and your sexuality and that deep, private part of yourself that you keep hidden. Venus, our planet of love, relationship, self-worth, and money, is going to be conjunct Pluto, our planet of transformation, from the 11th till the 19th. Now, this could be that there is money that is owed to you that finally realizes. It may be through real estate. Maybe you've been selling a property and you will see this finally get resolved. And I would say, if that's the case, it would be by the 19th, because on the 19th, Venus goes retrograde. But it's also a full moon in Gemini, your sign. So it's very much about you. And I think this full moon sees a chapter closing for you and a start of a very new and productive path for you, because it's making a nice aspect to Jupiter, that of course rules Sagittarius, which is where the sun is currently. And Jupiter actually moves into Pisces, which is the part of your chart connected with your work. Now that's going to bring an abundance of opportunities for your working life and potentially an increase in income. So let's just look at also for you the fact that, as I've talked about for all the signs, we have this Saturn in Aquarius, which is the part of your chart to do with long distance travel and knowledge, apart from other things, and it's squaring. So it's coming up to its final square with retrograde Uranus, which is our planet of the unexpected, and Saturn is about restriction, rules, abiding by the law. And Taurus is your 12th house, which is the part of your chart where your inner self resides and where there's a sense that you would like to break out. You want more freedom. I think this year especially, you felt quite hemmed in by events in your life. And I want you to think about what has been sort of number one on your personal, and that might be quite a private agenda this year, because that's where this Saturn-Uranus square is. That's the area of your life it's affecting. So think about that particular area. I would say that it has something to do with how you feel about restrictions that are imposed on you and how you would like to just go. You would love to do more traveling. I think you've got quite itchy feet, ants in your pants, Gemini. You want to move. Could even be a move of country or house. Big stuff. So they're going to be exact in this square on Christmas Eve. And what's this going to mean for you, for your Christmas energy? Well, I do feel, because it's the final square of these two big, powerful outer planets, my sense is it brings some kind of resolution. And for you, I think that understanding and resolution comes within. I think you will have a much better sense of where you want to go to, where you want to be for the long term, where you want to live. I think there's a lot of big issues coming up for you, Gemini. And with this energy, it's really, I think, about using it to its most valuable and productive. So if you want to make changes, don't wait for them to come to you. You have to initiate them. I know you're a mutable sign and you kind of think about it and talk about it. But this is, I think, a time of doing. You know, often we have to just be. But for you, Gemini, this is a time of doing, making some big decisions. So I wish you a very happy and blessed Christmas. I think it'll be fun. And I really wish you a very prosperous and healthy 2022. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Hi, Cancer. So let's see what's happening for you this December. Well, you know, I looked at your chart and we have this new moon total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. It's on the 4th, but it's in the part of your chart that is to do with service to others and our day-to-day routine. It can also be health, but it's conjunct Mercury, and the feeling I get with it is that I wonder where in your life you're feeling put upon, not valued, where you're feeling that you are of service to a lot of people that don't actually really value or acknowledge what you do for them. This can be part of that kind of energy. I think you're going to have something to say about that with this new moon. In fact, I think with this new moon, you are going to be making some changes. And it's as if you have been eclipsed and you are deciding to come out of the shadows. Because it's the sun that is being eclipsed by the moon. And if we look at what's going on in the part of your chart, Capricorn, this is to do with significant relationships. And of course, Venus is in Capricorn. Venus is our planet of love and relationship. So it sits well in this part of the chart. It's conjunct Pluto, our planet of transformation. Now, I feel that between the 11th and the 19th, when Venus is conjunct Pluto, you will be feeling and seeing ways that you can change significant relationships in your life. This may be the person that you're closest to. It may even be a business relationship. But I do feel that by the time Venus goes retrograde on the 19th, when we actually have a full moon in Gemini, which is in the part of your chart where you can feel quite restricted, I think by then you will have made quite a lot of decisions about how you see your significant relationships, the important person or people in your life, how that progresses forward. I think that looking back at this energy in Sagittarius, it feels as if you've felt a little bit as if you are being overlooked, as if you're a bit of as if some people think you're a bit of a pushover, but you're not, Cancer, are you? You're not a pushover at all. In fact, I wouldn't actually want to cross a Cancerian, because you can be very direct and assertive when you try. And I think you've just held back a bit. But now it's time to come out and shine, Cancer. This full moon in this part of your chart where you feel a little bit your inner self, you feel you want to break out. It is, however, very nicely aspected by Jupiter, which is our planet of luck and opportunity. And that's in the part of your chart to do with transformation. So I think that because you're going to find your voice, metaphorically, I think you're going to be able to say and put across what you want to say far more succinctly. That by the time we get to the 24th, when we have this Saturn-Uranus square, which I've been talking about, this square for you, I want you to think about what's the subject in your life that is number one on your list, because that is the area of your life that will have some kind of resolution by Christmas Eve. I think this final meeting of Saturn and Uranus will bring much needed change, and much needed change to you. So I think it could be a Christmas where you feel much more in charge and assertive. So God bless you, Cancer. Have an amazing Christmas and a very healthy, prosperous and exciting 2022. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Hi, Leo. Okay, let's see what's happening for you this month. Well, I think it's going to be quite fun-filled, with potentially some romance and flirtation. And let's face it, life has been all work, really, and, you know, really focused on that kind of side of your life and your routine and looking after yourself properly. And this new moon total solar eclipse on the 4th is in the part of your chart, Sagittarius, and it's about creativity, fun, groups of people, partying. It could also be romance. You could find a potential romantic partner enters your life and makes life a lot more interesting for you over the Christmas season. And this would, you know, has the potential to become something more permanent. And that's because of what's going on in the part of your chart connected with significant others. And that's Saturn and Jupiter in that part of your chart. And Saturn is about commitment and roots. Jupiter is about opportunity. So there's a lot of interesting energies around for you. Now, this new moon total solar eclipse is conjunct Mercury, our planet of communication. You might even be the one that's being talked about as people surmise about what you're up to and where you're going and who you're seeing. And certainly there's going to be a lot of communication going on. It's going to be fun, Leo. It's really going to feel like the energy is a lot lighter for you. The serious bit is really your 6th house Capricorn, which is about your day-to-day routine and looking after your health, you know, being mindful of you on every level. Now, Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter have been there for a long time. Saturn and Jupiter have now moved into the part of your chart connected with significant relationships and left just Pluto in this part of your chart, which is our planet of transformation. And this is a bit like the last chance saloon. If you know there are changes you need to make in your life, in your routine, in your health routine, for example, then now's the time to do it, especially as Venus, our planet of love, attraction, relationship, value, money, is going to be in Capricorn all month. And between the 11th and the 19th, Venus will be conjunct Pluto. Now, I thought about this and I think this is about you choosing to have a better relationship with yourself, about how you look after yourself, your health, psychologically, physically. And that relationship has to be with the self first. And then the interesting opportunities that are coming up in the part of your chart to do with significant relationships can begin to unfold. But you have to start with you. So we've also on the 19th, Venus will go retrograde. So Venus is going to be giving you a lot of opportunity to put this in place, this relationship with you, in whatever way feels right for you. We've also got a full moon on the 19th in Gemini. And Gemini is all about communication. Jupiter, our planet of luck and opportunity, is making a really helpful aspect to this full moon. And it's in the part of your chart which is about hopes and dreams and things you would like to manifest. So this full moon could really see quite a shift in energies for you as you start to see how you can, in a sense, build your empire. Because certainly I think for you, the Saturn-Uranus square has very much been about building your empire. Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn is about contraction, restriction, holding back, but it's also about foundations, putting down roots. Now, Saturn is in this part of your chart, making this final square on Christmas Eve to Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is this planet of the unexpected, and Uranus wants to be free. And Uranus brings suddenness into our life, sudden events, sudden interesting opportunities. And it's the part of your chart to do with your career and your role in life. Now, I think the square says that whatever's been going on for you most of this year, whatever area of your life has been foremost in your sort of life agenda, then that's where you're going to feel some kind of resolution. It may be internal. It may be that you finally see how you can get a better balance between work, life, play, romance, your other half. So I think it's about balance. I think it's about time management for you, Leo. That may be something that you've not found that easy this year, and you've been sort of run ragged as you run round chasing your lion's tail. But I do think this year, Christmas is actually going to be a bit of a milestone. I think it's going to feel like you can really sit back, give yourself a bit of a pat on the back, because you've achieved a lot in the last couple of years, Leo. And who knows where that's going to lead you in 2022. So I would like to say a blessed and happy Christmas for you, and a very healthy and prosperous New Year. And I will see you next time. Bye for now. Hi, Virgo. Let's see what's happening for you. What's going on at home? Because the lines of communication seem to be buzzing, and lines of communication to do with things at a distance, whether it's people abroad or family abroad, but there seems to be something going on round the beginning of the month, a lot of news. And we have this new moon, total solar eclipse. It's in Sagittarius. Now, this is the part of your chart that is to do with family and the home. So I think it's about making changes at home. It may be you are going to be welcoming someone from quite a distance, somebody who lives abroad. So you may be having family visit or very close friends, but there's certainly going to be something of that nature around at the beginning of the month. So that new moon total solar eclipse is on the 4th. But let's look at what's going on in your 5th house, because this is the part of your chart, Capricorn, to do with fun, partying, new projects, children, manifestation, anything creative. And you've had some heavyweight energies there for the last few years. And it's down to the single planet, Pluto, that you're still hosting in this part of your chart until 2024. And Pluto has brought immense changes to how you manage yourself with regard to your creativity. You've probably found that you've changed quite a lot. You may have switched careers several times. They will all be somehow under a similar heading, but somehow you've been shifting your understanding and knowledge of certain things that really fire you up. Now, Venus, our planet of love and relationship, also value, self-worth, money, is in Capricorn all month. And between the 11th and the 19th, Venus is going to be conjunct Pluto. Now, Pluto is this planet of transformation. So what's this all about for you? Well, you may find that there is a sort of a rather sudden and unexpected kind of romantic sort of happening or event, and you're quite taken aback by somebody's romantic advances. But Venus also goes retrograde on the 19th. So I think that will be you retreating and thinking, I need to think about this. I need to think about this. If that's not what you're looking for in life, then I think you are going to be bringing in an amazing amount of creative energy to the projects that you really want to get going and move forward with in 2022. And certainly this Venus and Pluto aspect is going to be really super helpful. Now, let's also look at the 19th, because the 19th also has the full moon in Gemini. And this is in the part of your chart to do with your role in life, your public image. It's to do with your career if you have one. If you don't work, then it's about whatever it is that you're very passionate about in life, what you would like to be doing in life. The full moon has a lovely aspect from Jupiter in the part of your chart, Aquarius, which is to do with your routine and your sort of day-to-day activities. And I think that with regard to work and career, you will be feeling that you've reached a point where you have completed something, that you can actually maybe present it or let people see what you've been working on. So there's something of that nature around. But let's look at this Saturn-Uranus square for you. So I want you to think about what it is that this year has been top of your kind of life agenda, because that is the part of your life that this Saturn-Uranus square has been affecting. Saturn is in Aquarius. Saturn is about restriction, slowdown, holding back. And it's in this part of your chart that is about, it's about day-to-day activities. It's routine. I think you've had to make quite significant changes to the way you manage your time. And Uranus, which is our planet of shocks, the unexpected, in Taurus, which is fixed, so Uranus isn't very comfortable there. So this is the part of the chart to do with long distances. And this is something about, I think you want to change your routine. I think you want to travel more. I think you felt so restricted by the regulations and rules that have been imposed on us over the last couple of years. And I think you are really looking at how you can change that for the long term. And so for you, Christmas, when they actually meet on Christmas Eve, on the 24th, it may be that an unexpected journey comes up and you may actually find yourself traveling at Christmas, but you'd be really pleased about it. You might have a bit of angst about it, wondering, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? But I'm looking at your chart and I say, if you want to travel, why not? So I want to wish you a blessed and very happy Christmas and a prosperous and healthy new year. And I will see you next time. Thanks for coming. Bye for now. Hi, Libra. Let's see what's happening for you this month. Well, let's start with the new moon total solar eclipse, which is in Sagittarius on the 4th, and it's in the part of your chart that's to do specifically with communication. It can also be short journeys, and it's conjunct Mercury. Now, Mercury is our planet of communication as well. So not only is it in the part of your chart to do with communication, but you've got Mercury here. So I do think that for you, most of December is going to see you very busy with lots of short journeys, lots of news, seeing lots of people, visiting neighbours, friends. It's going to be pretty hectic for you, December. And that includes at home, because this part of your chart is Capricorn, and you have Pluto here. Now, Pluto has been enabling you to transform your living space into something which is more where you are now in yourself. And with Venus in this part of your chart for all month and conjunct Pluto between the 11th and the 19th, then I think that you really are going to be spending time and money probably beautifying your home. I also think when Venus is conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, that you might hear news about family members and maybe something like an engagement or a wedding. There's something of that nature could be around, especially when the full moon comes in Gemini, because that's on the 19th, and it's the day Venus goes retrograde, but it's the part of your chart that is very much to do with long distance journeys and people at a distance. So this could be a family member who lives overseas, for example, and maybe they are going to be changing their relationship status. Let's see, so what else have we got? Well, let's look at this Saturn-Uranus square for you. So I want you to think about what has been the most uppermost area of your life that has been on the sort of top of the list for most of this year. What comes to mind first of all? Because that's the area that both Saturn and Uranus will be affecting. Now let me just explain. Now Saturn, of course, is our planet of restriction, rules, boundaries, limitations, and it's in Aquarius, and the part of your chart that is to do with fun and creativity and parties. So that, as we know, has been a bit restricted over the last couple of years. But I think for you, Libra, you found that quite tough. I think it's been tougher on you than some of the other signs. And so that this Saturn going through this part of your chart is just a little bit heavy going. And it's as if there's lots of opportunities to do things and see lots of different people, but you're almost getting a little bit tired of all this kind of, you know, having to sort of, right, hello everybody, how are we? And so, and it's squaring Uranus, which is in the part of your chart, Taurus, which is to do with other people's money. It's also to do with transformation and beginnings and endings. And I just think that you want to make some quite significant changes in how your life is structured going forward. I think you want to change the balance. I think you want to introduce more travel, and maybe travel to see friends or with friends. But changes need to happen for you. That Libra, you like balance, and the restrictions that have been put on you have been tough for you to manage, Libra. So how do I see Christmas for you? Well, I think it may not be the Christmas that, you know, is going to go down as the most memorable. You might find that you actually do manage to get away for a few days, which might be preferable from staying stuck doing the same routine things. So I think if you have an opportunity to travel, then take it. So I want to wish you an absolutely blessed and happy Christmas. And I also want to wish you a prosperous and healthy 2022. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Hi, Scorpio. Let's see what's happening for you in December. There seems to be an emphasis on communication, finance, money, getting things sorted out. It's like there are certain things you want to bring closure to, bring some kind of solution to. So let's just see if we can unpack this a bit, because the new moon total solar eclipse for you in Sagittarius is the part of your chart that is connected with finance. It's also value. It can also be possessions and property. So for instance, a new moon might say it's a good time to think about maybe getting on the property ladder if you're not already. Now this new moon is conjunct Mercury. And I just think that because Gemini is the opposite sign to Sagittarius, so that's the part of your chart to do with other people's money and communication and, in a sense, endings and beginnings, it feels as if there's something outstanding that you need resolution for. Now, this could be that you are trying to realize some investments or realize a pension, or maybe there is money that is owed to you. This is a theme that has been kind of constant for you, Scorpio. So I think there's going to be a lot of communication at the beginning of the month. I think you might see a little bit of a shift in the energies in general. And I do think that there's going to be more opportunity for you to be a little bit more, to relax and enjoy some kind of dreaming and daydreaming, and just sort of take your foot off the accelerator a bit. Let's look at what the Venus-Pluto in Capricorn is for you, because this is the part of your chart specifically connected with communication, short distance journeys, can be friends and neighbours. You've got Venus here all month. And between the 11th and the 19th, Venus, our planet of love, relationship, Venus can also be money and value. Then there seems to be a thread here of communication to do with how you're valued. This could be to do with your self-respect, or how you feel others show you respect. And I just feel that communication is going to be something that you really want to keep open and fluid. You want it to flow. And you know, Venus is going retrograde on the 19th. And so you are going to have several opportunities, because Venus will remain in this part of your chart. And I think, you know, in terms of sort of loving relationships, then this is really about let's keep the conversation flowing and find resolutions to any difficulties or blockages there might be. Because when Jupiter moves into Pisces, and that's at the end of the month on the 30th, this is the part of your chart to do with fun, creativity, partying, romantic partners. And I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities to meet new people and to possibly even meet new romantic partners. That's a strong possibility for the time that Jupiter is going to be in that part of your chart. And that's more or less to the middle of next year. So the first 6 months of next year could be highly interesting for you, Scorpio. Let's also look at the full moon, because the full moon on the 19th is in this part of your chart, Gemini, which is about communication, that is about completion and endings. And a full moon is about completion and endings. And you have Jupiter making a lovely aspect to this full moon. I have a strong suspicion that something you've been trying to get resolution to finally gets resolved. But let's look at this Saturn-Uranus for you, which I've been talking about, because for you, and I want you to think too, Scorpio, about what's been the sort of topic in your life that has been at the forefront of your mind. What's been on that top table agenda for you? Because that's the area that Uranus in Taurus, Uranus being all about the unexpected, shocks, twists and turns, never know what's going to happen next. And Saturn, which is our planet of slowing down and restriction. And Saturn is in Aquarius, in the part of your chart, which is home and it's family. It may actually be because Uranus is in the part of your chart to do with significant relationships. I just wonder whether there have been problems around family members that have caused friction for you, perhaps with your other half. And I think this comes to some kind of resolution round Christmas time. Either you make a decision and it frees you to move forward, because Uranus can also be about freedom. So as much as Saturn slows down and restricts, Uranus is about freedom. And I think you like freedom, Scorpio. I don't think you like to be tied down too much to the rules and regulations that we've all had to endure over the last couple of years. So I think it's going to be an interesting Christmas, and I think you're going to be breathing a sigh of relief this Christmas. Okay, so I would like to wish you a very blessed and happy Christmas time and a healthy and prosperous New Year. Bye for now. Hi, Sagittarius. Let's see what's happening for you this month. Well, there is a flavour of relationships in the air, but also there's very much a sense that December is about you. I mean, of course, that's partly because it's your birthday month. So happy birthday to Sagittarians who have their birthday in December. And we have this new moon, total solar eclipse on the 4th, and it's in your sign. It's in Sagittarius. This is so much about you. But it's not just about you. It's about you and someone who is very important to you in your life. So a significant other. That can even be a business relationship. It's not always a close kind of personal relationship, but you'll have to decide what feels most appropriate for you. But this new moon is conjunct Mercury. Now, my feeling is that you actually need to be a little bit sort of careful what you say, because this is an eclipse. So my feeling is that there are things that you need to keep back currently, keep to yourself for the time being, until the time is right to actually start kind of talking about these things. Now, the other important energy that is going on for you in December, of course, is your second house of finance. It can also be property and possessions, self-value, self-worth as well. This Capricorn for you. Pluto, of course, has been here for some time now and will be there until 2024. Now, Pluto is transforming your whole economic situation. If it's not yet, then why aren't you using this amazing energy? You should be using this energy to transform your sort of financial situation for a really good, strong, long-term future. And this month, you are going to have the planet Venus here. Now, Venus in this part of your chart is really super lovely because Venus is about, it can be about money and finance and attraction, and it, as well as love and relationships. But I think as it's in your second house, this is very much for you about your finances. Some of you might be considering getting on the property ladder if you're not on it already. Or if you are very flush, you might be looking to add to your portfolio of properties. But that's a small percentage of the population of Sagittarians. But Venus is in this part of your chart, as I said, all month. So it's really important to use this energy constructively, to put your finances in a very secure way. And because Venus attracts, then it's a great time to invest. So you could really invest and attract more money to you. Venus is conjunct Pluto from the 11th to the 19th. And then also on the 19th, Venus goes retrograde. So when Venus is conjunct Pluto, it's going to give you a really super opportunity to transform your financial status into something much more secure and long-term. Mercury is conjunct both of them in this part of your chart on the 30th, when Jupiter moves into Pisces, which is the part of your chart to do with your home life. And I just think there's going to be lots of communication, lots of letters, and there's certainly going to be activity in that part of your life. And when Jupiter moves into Pisces, into this part of your chart that is to do with the home and family, then it would not be a surprise if you bought a property, sold a property, moved house, and they are the kind of energies that you can expect around that. Now, the full moon for you this month is also on the 19th, the day that Venus goes retrograde. And it's in Gemini, which of course is your house of significant personal one-to-one relationships. If there is something that has been really struggling, if there is a relationship in your life that really has gone past its sell-by date, this is a perfect opportunity to close the door. And Jupiter is making a nice aspect from your third house of communication, Aquarius. And I do feel for you, this is about fruitful conversation, fruitful communication, to explain to somebody perhaps why it's the end of the road. Let's look at what the Saturn and Uranus square means for you. So I want you to think about what has been kind of foremost in your mind for most of this year. What keeps coming back for you to look at it, for you to perhaps tweak it, solve a problem? What's not been working? Because with the final square between Saturn and Uranus, we often get a kind of solution, a resolution. And for you, Saturn is in Aquarius. And that's the part of your chart to do specifically with communication. So if people have just not been getting you or not hearing you, then I think there's going to be one last push from you to get your point across. Because you don't want your day-to-day routine disrupted and upset by people that don't get you. Uranus in Taurus is in the part of your chart to do with day-to-day routine. And I think you've had enough of the ups and downs and twists and turns of other people's contrary moods. So you will be saying enough is enough. So I think for Christmas, you will have cleared the ground of a lot of the dead wood in your life. I think you'll have done some very necessary pruning, and you will sit back this Christmas and breathe a sigh of relief and think, right, bring it on, 2022, just bring it on. So I'd like to wish you a very blessed and happy Christmas. I'd also like to wish you a healthy and prosperous 2022. Thank you for joining me, and bye for now. Hi Capricorn, let's see what's happening for you this December. There's a lot of inner work going on for you. I really get a feeling that you are, whether you've wanted to or not, you've not had much choice but to go within. You know, with Pluto in your sign, in your first house, this planet has been urging you, pushing you to change, to transform, to get rid of things in your life that do not serve you. And on the 4th, we've got a new moon, total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. Now, this is the part of your chart which is where you can feel restricted. And it's like the inner you. It's like there's this part of you that would love to be much more extrovert and out there and gregarious, but you just don't dare. And there's still this part of you that you keep in the shadows. But I do think you're going to be talking more, because this new moon is conjunct Mercury, our planet of communication. So on one level, you may be having a lot of deep talks with yourself, pep talks, telling yourself actually how well you've done this year. You know, you've come through some pretty tough things, some pretty difficult twists and turns, and you're here, and you've survived. And Capricorn, you have this amazing ability to start again and to build yourself up. And I think that that's really going to be one of the themes for 2022, is you are going to begin again. It's like a new you, a new part to you, a new life. Venus, our planet of love, beauty, attraction, value, money, is in your sign all month. Venus is going to be super helpful here. Venus is really going to make you feel very good about yourself. It's going to make you feel proud and that you are valuable, and that, and because I think you will be recognizing your value, then so will others see it, because we have to value ourselves before we get valued by others. And when Venus is conjunct Pluto in your sign between the 11th and the 19th, just bear in mind those dates, the 11th to the 19th, because I think something might just shift internally, that you think, no more. I'm not going to be either walked on or trampled on or ignored, overlooked. You want some things to change in your life, and you're prepared to do what needs to be done to bring about those changes. Now, Venus goes retrograde on the 19th, which is the same day that we have a full moon in Gemini. Now that's in the part of your chart that is to do with your day-to-day routine, your work, your working life. And I wonder if there is one particular avenue of your work that you will be closing, ending, changing, finishing. Because Jupiter in Aquarius, in the part of your chart to do with finance, is making a very nice aspect to this full moon in Gemini. And my feeling is that something new could come along that actually offers you more money. Well, we're not going to complain about that, are we, Capricorn? So you'll be able to, look at building your empire. And for you, we need to also look at the Saturn-Uranus square. So I want you to think about what has been top of your agenda this year, because that's probably the area most likely affected by the Saturn and Uranus energy. Now, Saturn is in your second house of finance. So Saturn has been putting the brakes on a bit. You've probably been finding it easier to budget and to not let it, slip through your fingers. Not that that's a common thing for Capricorn, because Capricorns are usually very prudent and able to make sure their piggy bank stays nice and solid. So retrograde Uranus in Taurus. Now Uranus is our planet of the unexpected, of shocks, twists, changes, freedom. And it's in the part of your chart, Taurus, which is to do with creativity and fun and parties. And I just think you should think about Christmas, because this final square is on the 24th, Christmas Eve. And I think you've done very well this year, Capricorn, to be as frugal as possible in your dealings and in what you spend on yourself or your home. And I think you find it quite difficult to splash out and treat yourself. You know what, Capricorn? I think you should treat yourself a bit this Christmas. Give yourself something that really would mean something to you. Something that says you value you. I think that would be a great use of the resolution of this square. So I would like to wish you a very blessed, fortunate and happy Christmas. And I'd also like to wish you a prosperous and a healthy new year. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Hi, Aquarius. Let's see what's happening for you this month. I think you have plans afoot. I think you have some ideas that you are very excited about kind of revealing and initiating, because we have this new moon, total solar eclipse in Sagittarius, and it's in the part of your chart to do with, amongst other things, manifestation, and it's about things that you have long dreamed about, things you would really like to bring in to your life. Now, it's a new moon total solar eclipse, so I think it's something that you have to keep under wraps, because it may be that there are some people that would think you were mad with what it is that you want to try and get going. But it's conjunct Mercury, so I don't think you'll be able to keep it under wraps. I think you're going to be talking about it to anybody and everybody that asks. So it might be wise to just, because, when we want to manifest something, when we want to work with the law of attraction, it's about not revealing everything at once. Because the energy has to build up. So it's about leaving the seeds beneath the earth to just allow the moisture and the warmth of the sun to nourish them and help them mature and grow. So if you can just be mindful of that and not let all your plans out into the world, into the universe at once, because it's really funny how they lose their impetus and energy if we do that. So if there's something you really, really want to manifest, then just hold back a little bit on that. But let's look also at what's going on in your 12th house, which is Capricorn, because this is the part of your chart that is very much about the inner you and the part of you that can feel restricted, confined, contained, that you want to kind of break out of. It's that part of our chart where we, if we were going to see a psychotherapist, it would be in this part of the chart. And you've had Pluto here for quite a long time. And Pluto is going to be there till 2024, when Pluto will then move into your sign. Now, Pluto wants you to change. Pluto wants you to transform. It wants you to leave parts of yourself that do not serve the person you are becoming and put them in the past. Venus, our planet of love, beauty, attraction, relationship, money, finance, is in this part of your chart all month. And between the 11th and the 19th, Venus is conjunct Pluto. This is really asking you to blossom. We need you to come out of the shadows. We need to see what you have learnt, what you are able to bring to the table now. It's almost like a sort of coming of age for you, Aquarius. Now on the 19th, Venus also goes retrograde. So Venus is going to give you plenty of time to really work with this energy and use it in the most productive and transforming way you can. Mercury, our planet of communication, joins both of them on the 30th, the day when Jupiter moves into your second house of finance. Now that's going to be super good. You've had the benefits of Jupiter in your house. Some of you may have seen an expanding waistline. That can be a byproduct of Jupiter in the first. But once Jupiter moves into your second house, I think you're just going to see your little piggy bank filling up a little bit. And there could even be lucky windfalls. On the 19th, to go back to the 19th, we also have a full moon in Gemini. And that's in the part of your chart to do with, it can be to do with children. It can be to do with creativity, performance, the arts. It can also be to do with romance. But it's a full moon. And it's trine, which means it's a nice angle. Jupiter, our planet of luck and abundance, in Aquarius, your sign. So this is a full moon where I think you feel something has really completed for you. Something can really be let go of, so that you can move forward in 2022. And it's like a final gift to yourself as Jupiter prepares to leave your sign. But we need to look at the Saturn-Uranus square, because Uranus, of course, is your ruler, your ruling planet, this planet of the unexpected, of change, of sudden happenings, also of freedom. And I think very much Uranus has been in the part of your chart connected with family and home life. This is Taurus, and it's been making a hard angle all year, a square, to Saturn, which has also been slowing you down and probably helping to balance out any of the overindulgences that Jupiter may have brought for you. So Saturn is about slowing down and restriction. And it's about being a grown-up. What has been top of your agenda this year, Aquarius? Because that is where you are going to get some kind of resolution by Christmas. Because the final energy of this square happens on Christmas Eve. And I think at this point, something is going to be released. You know, with this Uranus in this part of your chart to do with home and family, it may be that a member of the family moves on, leaves to you know, it's like if you've got children that are going to university, this kind of thing. But it could equally be that you decide to change your residence. The whole time that Uranus is in this part of your chart can bring this kind of energy. But there's a feeling with this Saturn-Uranus square for you about growing up. And, you know, we can grow up at any time, even when we're in our 60s and 70s and 80s, we still continue to grow up. So there's a little spurt of growth comes for you with this particular energy. So I think Christmas is going to be rather exciting. I think there's going to be some unexpected events and twists and turns. Let's see what they are. So I'd like to wish you a very happy and prosperous Christmas and a very healthy and prosperous New Year. Thank you for joining me, Aquarius, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Hi, Pisces. Let's see what's happening for you this month. I think the focus for you this month is going to be very much on your working life. That can also be your passion. So if you're not working, it would be like something you're very passionate about, your main hobby, the thing that gives you the sort of, you know, the inspiration to live, if you like. It's also going to be on home life. So there's going to be a kind of a bit of a seesaw going on between work and home. So let's just unpack this a little bit, because on the 4th, there is this new moon total solar eclipse. And that's in Sagittarius, and it's the part of your chart to do with your public image, amongst other things, and your career and work or passion. So new moons, of course, bring in new opportunities, but it's a solar eclipse. So there's something that is hidden. So be careful if something comes up that it's as good as it seems, because there's a sense that I think what you have to do, Pisces, is really seek for the truth about any new business venture you decide to go into, because it could be that something is being held back from you. And because if we look at what's going on in your 11th house, which is Capricorn, and this is the part of your chart that is to do with your dreams and your hopes and things that you would like to manifest. We've had Pluto here for a long time, and Pluto is going to continue in this part of your chart till 2024. So use this energy productively, because it can help you to transform and manifest ideas that you think and work on in a very constructive way. Now, Venus, our planet of relationship, love, attraction, also money and value, is in Capricorn all month. Now, that's going to be super helpful to bring in any finance that you need to help launch anything new that you're trying to get off the ground. And Venus is going to be conjunct Pluto between the 11th and the 19th. So if it has a few stops and starts, don't worry, because Venus goes retrograde on the 19th, but we've also got we've also got a full moon on that day in Gemini, and that's in the part of your chart to do with home life. There's going to be an awful lot of communication going on. I think there are events at home which may get in the way of you launching some new project. So you're going to have to be a good juggler. You're going to really have to keep all the balls in the air. You are going to have your eyes and ears and energies everywhere. And for Pisces, I haven't done that yet, have I? Pisces are fish that swim in opposite directions. That's sometimes quite difficult. Mercury, our planet of communication, is conjunct both Venus and Pluto on the 30th. And this is when Jupiter, our planet of luck and abundance, finally moves into your sign, Pisces, which is going to be super nice for the first half of next year for you. So let's just look at this Mercury conjunction with Venus and Pluto, because I think more discussions have to take place for whatever it is you're trying to get off the ground. It just feels as if you haven't actually got all the information that you need to make a balanced decision and judgment about it. Now, let's look at what this Saturn-Uranus square is for you, because for you, Saturn is in your 12th house, Aquarius. Saturn is slowing you down on an inner level and asking you to really pay attention to your insight. And you have Neptune in your sign. And I'm pretty certain that most Pisces people will have found their intuition, gut feelings, psychic abilities really quite pronounced. And with Saturn in the part of your chart where things are hidden, it's giving you this opportunity to really kind of put down some solid roots in you, in learning about you, to build a good, strong psychological structure in which to make the best decisions. Now, Uranus, that Saturn is squaring, is retrograde in Taurus, and this is the part of your chart that is to do with communication. It can also be paperwork, could be the internet. And retrograde Uranus has been causing some ups and downs and problems. And I want you to think, as I've asked all the other signs, about what has been topmost on your agenda this year, because that will be the area that Saturn and Uranus are struggling to help you move beyond, because they've made it very challenging for you to get something off the ground. And by Christmas Eve, when they are in an exact square, I think you get some kind of resolution. Either you know exactly how to proceed for 2022 with this project, or you may even decide it's not worth running with any longer. Either way, I think there's going to be some significant changes, and it may surprise quite a few people what you decide to do. But Christmas in general, I think, is going to be relaxing. I think you are going to be able to sit back and just think, whew, somehow I made it. So, well done, Pisces. Anyway, I'd like to wish you a blessed and very happy Christmas. I'd also like to wish you a prosperous and healthy new year. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for joining me, and bye for now.